Go to blackworldorder.com, become an official member, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I want us to accomplish is really understanding the ideas of what masculinity is and taking back the power of what it means to be a masculine man. We've allowed society to define masculinity for us, specifically speaking to the black man in America, right? We've allowed the white woman to define it, and we've allowed the gay white man to define it. And then they embedded that into our society, and then we filter our actions based on someone else's definition that ain't even connected to our ancestry, our agenda, our success, right? Our achievements whatsoever. So as men, we have to learn to take back our roles. We have to learn to take back those traits and those values of what it means to be assertive, right? What it means to walk with your head up, stomach in, chest out. You understand me? What it means to be a soldier, not always on some soft. You understand me? What it means to check your emotions and considerably all of the time, right? What it means to be able to learn how to check your environment, right? Learn how to be sharp, learn how to be wise, learn how to have those values. If I got an idea, then I'm gonna make sure that it's brought out. I'm not gonna let anything stop me. I'm not going to develop these insecurities because I'm waiting for validation from outside sources besides the ones that come within, right? And today, young males still haven't developed the practice of manhood because of our lack of role models. So we have to learn how either to find someone that we can pattern our mind off of, right? If we didn't have a proper father in the household, or, you know, we might have had our father, but he didn't raise us right? Because of the things that he was missing. So a lot of the things that we have to do is we have to go back into our own childhood, look at where we was programmed, reprogram ourselves so that we are not instituting the next generation with that same failed program, right? And so becoming a man does deal with work, right? Men are givers. A lot of times you give a man something, he don't appreciate it because we want to be the one who has the ability to give, right? And that BWO mindset, that Black World Order mindset, more so goes into how can you produce yourself and manage yourself so that you can be a giver in this world. So you represent those values, those traits. You understand me? It's too many men today that truly think that their material accomplishments make them a man. And once we get back to real values, then that's when we can have a society that actually develops on something that's real. You understand me? And that's when we are actually pushing out the weakness. And when you look at generations to come, we filtering them out. You understand me? Because now they children are bred with that same sort of science. Like, you should be able to take a thought from your head and have the sort of ambition to go get it. But even when it comes to the way that we eat, I jokingly talk about soy boys, but that's real, right? We eat things that's connected to our mood. We eat things that's connected to our chemical imbalance within our body, and we don't think about it, right? And so some of us be irritable, some of us be emotional and not even realize it because we're eating the wrong food, right? And then, of course, that goes towards women. Because if you don't understand what you're eating, you could be feeding your child poison. You can be the very one that's killing your household. At the dinner table is diabetes, it's cancer, you understand me? It's arthritis, it's all these pre-existing conditions happening right at the dinner table. So when you want to understand why does Black America consistently have the same problems, it's because of our rituals at the dinner table and our lack of accountability from learning and educating ourselves on what's the right lifestyle. Why? Because we want to live to eat instead of eat to live. We want to shut our child up because, you know, we want to give him the food that he craves, even though we the one who created the craving in the first place, right? Children are not born with the taste of sugar in their mouth, right? Somebody told women a long time ago that you have to get these cravings for junk food, right? Where did that come from? Before there was junk food, where were these cravings at? Right? So everything connected to capitalism, they target the mother before the child is born in the womb. So now that child is going to become a consumer for this capitalism, right? For this particular institution or whatever it may be. And BWO is all about making you conscious of it, because the moment you become aware of something, you have a greater institution of power over it. Once you have that power over it, now you have ability to control it, right? And now we can start to look at our reality in the way that we would want it designed, because if you go look outside right now, you ain't gonna see nothing that a black man designed. That building, a black man didn't design this. That car, a black man ain't designed that. Them streets, the street lights, the corners, the rules, the laws, we ain't designed none of this shit, yet we obeying all of it. So when do we get to a point where we really want to assert our rule to where we say, shit, if they design it, how come I can't design it for myself? How come I can't create my own college? We went to school, nobody ever taught a class on how you can run your own school. They don't teach you how to be rulers, because that's not the goal. To teach you how to become a public servant so they can continue to have their institutions rule over you and your families. And I come from a family that knows who they are. I come from a family that have righteous names, not slave names, names that mean something, right? I come from a family that don't look at what society is doing. We look at what's our God-given rights on this planet Earth and our potential to exact who we are, right? We was taught that we was gods from a very young age so we can have something to develop in as we grow. And that's a different institution of power that you come up under instead of having a white man in your mind as your Jesus. You understand me? Your Santa Claus, your president, right? Your school teacher, babysitter, mailman, all of these white men that run your life in the way that you think, and we never question it. And you can tell who has the most power in society because we got a whisper about them. And a lot of black men, even when they get some money, they still bow down to white men. Why? You the one with all the power, right? You think you got to speak to them a certain way, in a way that they want you to talk. You square up your voice a little bit when you get in these certain conversations. You just don't feel like you can be you. That means you a slave. A slave is not somebody who goes through chattel slavery, get the family raped and got to get beaten, whipped, and work in cotton fields. A slave is somebody who doesn't control their own will, who doesn't control their own mind, right? So when we think about whether black men or women are slaves in society, ask yourself, do you control your reality? Do you control your will? If you wanted things to be different, could you make that change? And if you can't, then that's a good indication that you're not the master of your reality. So our goal now is to figure out, how do we master our reality? How do we get to that institution of power? How do black men learn how to collectively organize and to be able to take instructions from each other, right? Black men get so much ego, we hear a little instruction, we don't want to take it. We get into our own little world. And then the phones done turned us into, our minds are just constantly distractible, right? You ask the average person 3 questions. All right, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? Are you focused on what you're doing right now? Right? Most people are not focused at all on what they're doing right now. Right? And then the last question, which adds up to it, is, are you happy with what you're doing? Or are you happy, period? If we're constantly distracted by things, the distracted mind is the unhappy mind, as science says. Right? So we have to learn how to focus for a prolonged period of time. That's concentration. So if a black man can finally take one goal, huddle up in a group together and say that this is the vision, and then everybody is able to concentrate their passion on that one vision, then you can bring anything into life the same way they did the Magna Carta, the Constitution. White men came together in a room, they consolidated mind power and said that we're going to create institutions that rule over families for decades to come. And we still under their power and their jurisdiction today. So our goal now is to say that, how do we rework that framework that they created? And then we huddle up in our own mastermind sense. We come together, we consolidate power, and then we build from there. Sometimes we be generals, sometimes we soldiers, and you got to know at what point in time that you play the difference. So within the BWO, we're going to make sure that we continuously institute that mind power, continuously institute what it means to be a man, what it means to be a soldier, what it means to be a general, what it means to take control, what it means to not be a boss, but to be a god. Now, if you want that constitution of thought, come rock with us. Tap in.
For the BlackWorldOrder.com, become an official member, y'all.